welcome back to Joe Talks Cars. Welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be finding out the question that everyone has been asking, and that is, what is wrong with my Porsche Cayman? If you've followed this series for a few weeks, you'll have known I've had problems with burning engine oil, black deposits on the rear bumper, and I've been very concerned that it could have been bore scoring. I've since been to a few garages and they couldn't really determine whether it had bore scoring or not. So today I've decided to take some of your advice and take it to a specialist called Strasse in Leeds. They specialise in all things Porsche. They've rebuilt many of your cars of people that watch this channel, and I think the car will be in good hands. So it's booked in for 9 o'clock today, so quite an early one. It's just gone 7 o'clock now. I'm going to take it out there and finally get to the bottom of what is wrong with this car. If you'll have seen in my previous video, I spent quite a lot of time whinging, and I was told I was whinging about how I was just going to sell the car. And after all of your amazing comments, I decided that you were right. I hadn't done enough investigation into what is actually going on, and I was just jumping the gun, selling the car as soon as that, just thinking, that's it, it's ruined, sell it, move on. And I think that was the wrong thing to do. So I've taken advice from everyone on the comment section, most of you anyway. Some of the more unusual comments I have kind of ignored, and we're going to find out what's wrong with it. So it's quite a long drive today, and the car will be in there for a couple of hours, so I'm going to pick up one of my friends, take him with me because I'll be milling around Leeds on my own otherwise, and yeah, we'll get to the bottom of what's actually going on, which will be really, really good. I really do hope it's good news, and going by some of your comments and some of the theories on what is wrong with the car, it could be a cheap fix, but equally it could be disastrous. So I'm not going to think about it too much until I get the final word from Strasse on what has happened to it, and then I can plan my next steps. I think it's also worth mentioning at this point, just to say thank you to all my new subscribers. When I started this channel, I didn't even believe I'd hit 100, and every single one of these milestones that I've been hitting seems to be happening quicker and quicker now. It only seems 2 minutes ago that I hit 400 subscribers, which for me was a massive deal, and I can't believe that I managed to hit it, to be honest. And yesterday I went over 600, so it's a huge deal for me, and it isn't without the support of you guys. So thank you so much for every single person that's taken the time to watch my videos, hit the subscribe button and comment on my videos. It really does mean a lot. So anyway, like I said, it's quite a long drive now, so I'm going to turn the camera off and I'll talk to you as soon as we get there. That's the car just dropped off, and we're going to go into Leeds now and have a coffee and probably a cocktail while I wait to find out whether the car is totally destroyed. Hopefully it's not, but we're going to have a good look at it for a couple of hours and then we're going to head back. So absolute boiling, must be about 30 degrees. It's a joke today. So at least the engine may not work, but at least the aircon works. Actually, weirdly, just near the garage, we're just going to be walking past it very shortly, but there's actually a breakers yard for Porsches, one of the largest in the UK apparently. So that's a bit worrying in itself that they've got a breakers yard that close to where they repair the cars. So I'm guessing if it can't be repaired, we can just push it round the corner and scrap it. Yes, we're just walking past one of the largest Porsche breakers yards in the UK. So just over there. How very weird and worrying when you walk past something like that. A Porsche dismantler. Brilliant! That gives me so much faith. Right, so they've just given me a call and the car is ready. I didn't actually dare ask what was wrong with it, so I'll have to wait and find out. Right, well, we're just about to set back off from the garage now, and I have actually found out what is wrong with the car, which is brilliant news that we've finally got to the bottom of this problem. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to film much inside the garage, as I've just said, walking back to the garage, they were actually finished, they were shut, they only opened Saturday mornings, and I didn't realise. So when we got there, and I wanted to run around with a bit of B-roll, they were going home, so that wasn't really, I couldn't really do that, unfortunately. But never mind, we're going to set back off home and I will give you the update on what's happened to the car and exactly what is wrong with it. So let's hit the road. Got a bit of a drive to go now, so a long time to have a bit of a chat and tell you about what exactly happened to it. Well, so as you know, I dropped the car off this morning and he said it would be a couple of hours, and it was indeed a couple of hours. He pulled the plugs out and shoved a camera down the bores to have a look to check for any signs of bore scoring. Now, the garage I went to previously said they couldn't see any signs of bore scoring, and the photos they gave didn't really show a lot, and what they did show was there wasn't any bore scoring. Hartech confirmed there was nothing on those photos that particular garage took to show anything, which led to a lot of you saying that it's probably the AOS and something like that, and I was so hopeful that it was going to be the AOS again, but unfortunately Strasse have popped the camera down and found significant bore scoring on cylinder 6, some evidence of bore scoring on cylinder 5, and almost certainly a new piston required on cylinder 6 and possibly on cylinder 5. So it's not really the news that I wanted today. It's the news that, to be honest, I expected, but it's not the news I wanted, as I've already discussed about the costs of these things, and it is monumentally expensive to put right, and it's just not what I wanted with this car. It really isn't, and it's an absolute disaster. I'm absolutely devastated because I love the car so much, but it's going to be a huge bill. Now, I've had to think about it, and when I went to the garage, I already had in the back of my mind that if the worst came to it, and it did have bore scoring, I'd already decided that I would actually be completing the work on it. I would be getting it booked in and getting this car fixed, because not only do I love the car, but I think it would make an amazing video series, and these things seem to be so common on these cars, and I just want to bring you guys along with me on this journey where we're going to rebuild it. So the car is booked in on the 30th of August, so it's not long away, and they're going to do a full rebuild. He's going to put liners in it, he's going to replace piston 6 at least, possibly piston 5, and it'll be having new chains, new belts, new pumps, everything. It'll be like a brand new car. I'm not going for the upgraded displacement because that does add a significant cost to it. I didn't even inquire how much they charge for that, but it is significant because obviously you're having to replace all 6 pistons. So I'm not going down that route. I am putting it back to what it was when it left the factory, and the total cost of that is going to be somewhere between £5,000 and £6,000. So anywhere between there, depending what else needs doing along the way, such as like brake pipes and anything that we find along the way, like, you know, like coolant pipes or anything like that. So there could be some additional costs as well. But the good news is I am going to be completing the work. The car is booked in, and I'm going to take a massive financial hit on this, but I feel like the car's worth it. You know, I've been looking at cars over the past few weeks, like Gen 2 cars, some with high mileage, and yeah, I can buy one with really high mileage. It doesn't come with the service history that this comes with. And if I wanted to go with one that did have a good service history and did have low mileage, I'd be looking at sort of 28 to 30,000, and I'm not in a position to pay for all that. So I feel like throwing an extra 5 or 6,000 at this car, it's still going to come in at around 20,000. And I think when you consider that you can get this car for £20,000, I still think it's a bargain, and I need to look at it in that way. I'm not looking at this like a bill. I'm looking at it as something that I have to spend on the car to maintain its value. And let's be honest, these cars don't seem to be going down in value anytime soon. So I'm not saying I'm going to get my money back, but I think it's a safer place to put 5 or 6 grand than, say, swapping out into something totally different like a Panamera or a Cayenne or a Macan, which are going to lose money over the next sort of 3 or 4 years. So that's where I'm at, basically. The car is booked in, and the video series will start on the rebuild. I have actually spoken to them about doing some filming in the place, and he said that would be absolutely fine. He's going to do me photos. He's going to let me document the whole process. so I can show you exactly what's gone wrong and what they do to rectify it, which I think will be an amazing series. So if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing on this, because I think it's going to be an amazing series, and it's really going to give you an insight in what it's like if, or I should say when, your Porsche Cayman 3.4 or 911 of this era has bore scoring, because it does seem to affect so many cars. I did actually have a quick chat about why it actually scored in the first place, and he said it was basically short trips. I know there's a lot of theories out there on what causes it, but short trips was the main thing he mentioned, and this car only did 3,000 miles in the last 2 years with the previous owner, so it's clearly done some short trips in that time. I've since driven up to Scotland and done all sorts in it. I don't tend to do the short trips, so I'm hopeful it won't reoccur, but I think following the strict service regime that Strasse recommend, using the oil they recommend, he's pretty confident that it shouldn't reoccur. The reason being why these costs are a lot lower than Hartec is because what Strasse do is they use steel liners. At Hartec they use, I think it's Nickel liners or something like that. They're a lot more expensive, and they almost guarantee that they won't have any scoring. So there is advantages to it, but as the guy at Strasse said, he's not had any issues with any cars they've rebuilt. They've never rescored. So I think it's a good bet to take, and it's going to save me a few quid, and it's going to bring you along the journey with me in rebuilding this amazing car. I think it's also worth mentioning, when I was at Strasse, they had a Generation 2 Cayman in with bore score. So although people say it doesn't affect the Generation 2s and they are totally trouble free, they have one in there with bore scoring currently. So although it doesn't affect them very much, it's clearly still affecting them, and I'm guessing it's down to these short trips. So hopefully you have enjoyed this video. I really do apologise for the way it's been filmed. It hasn't really documented much at all, but like I said, we're in a bit of a rush and the garage was shutting, so I couldn't really do a massive amount. But hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, you can give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, for plenty more videos on this car to come, and of course of the rebuild process. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.